Hey YouTube, welcome to Weigh-In Wednesday. I'm Erin, and I am 39 weeks out from VSG, or vertical sleeve gastrectomy, with Dr. Guillermo Alvarez in Piedras Negras, Mexico. As always, let's do the stats. My high weight was 305. Pre-op diet weight was 295. Surgery weight was 286. Last week I came in at 213, and this week I'm 211. So back down the 2 pounds that I had gained, so that's great. Yay. I feel like I'm really back on track with my eating and everything. I said I was going to go to the NSV retreat and I was going to use that as the line in the sand. And I did. So I have left all my bad eating habits back in Georgia. I've been weighing my food and measuring instead of just grabbing a handful of nuts. I don't even like to touch nuts, so. Okay, anyway, instead of just grabbing a handful of cashews, I have been weighing them out, so an ounce. So yeah, measuring my food, eating mostly protein, a few vegetables, but not really anything but protein. Really trying to no pasta, no bread, really trying to stay on that track. So what do I have to talk about this week? The NSV retreat. That's basically all I'm going to talk about. So if you don't want to hear about it, shut it off now. So last Thursday, David and I got on a plane. We flew to Georgia. When we got there, we hi. Okay, Jackson. Here comes Jackson to say hi. Are you coming? Hello. Hi. So we got there, we drove out to Banning Mills and checked into the cabin that we were sharing with Christine, Teeny Tiny Sleeve, Lorraine, Xena Warrior Princess, VSG, and the Haneys, and then also Gracie, No One's Stopping Me But Me, and her husband came on Friday, along with the Haneys. So we got there, we checked in, we got the keys, we found the cabin. It took a minute, and we just waited for Christine and Lorraine to show up. And I gave them directions, and everybody managed to show up and not get lost, so that was great. The next morning, we got up bright and early and met Tanya and her husband John and TJ. And Doug drops the weight, or I think is his Facebook name anyway. And we went over to the zipline course or whatever, and we zipped our little asses off all day long. So it ended up being 8 hours of ziplining, and it was so fun. I loved it. I would zipline every friggin' day if I could. I would just zipline and do obstacle courses and just fly. I would just fly through the air all day. We had a great time. In our 8 hours, we ended up walking something over 900 over 9 miles and hundreds of stairs, which definitely is something I couldn't have done a year ago. There's no friggin' way. I couldn't have walked up the huge towers. I love you too, Jackson. The huge tower, there was one tower that was 177 stairs to get up to where you needed to be to do the flight of the Falcon, which was Superman style. Achoo. And was probably the coolest thing I've ever done in my whole life. So, yeah, there's no way I could have done those stairs. I would have never made it to the top. I would have been huffing and puffing and crying before we ever got. I would have pushed myself, I guess, and gotten up there, but I would have been over the weight limit for the zip lines anyway, so it wouldn't have mattered. Okay. Sorry. Distracted. So we ziplined all day, and then once we were done, we went back to the cabin, and everybody hung out and talked and had a great time. I was fucking beat by the end of the day. I mean, TJ like went out and took a nap in the van, in Tanya's van. I hung for a little bit, had a glass of wine, but then I went to bed. But when we got back to the cabin, the Haneys and Gracie and her husband were there, so we got to meet them, and we all just kind of hung out and sat around and talked, and it was really, really cool. It's a weird thing because, you know, you've been talking online and you've watched these people's videos, so you feel like you really know each other, but you don't. So it's like awkward, especially with TJ, who, like, I've watched his videos, but I'm pretty damn sure he's never seen one of mine. So, like, I felt like I knew him, but he didn't know me. Which, I mean, was fine. We got along. We loved TJ. Some people think TJ is a total ass. We loved him. My husband and I thought TJ was hilarious. He was, like, right up our alley. Like, we would love for him to come to Kansas/Oklahoma and go on a river rafting trip with us and fucking get really drunk and throw beats to girls showing their boobs. That seems like it would be right up his alley, and it would be a lot of fun to do with him. A tractor! He would be a super fun raft mate. So that was night one. That was Friday. Then on Saturday we got up early again, and Tanya and John and Doug and Gracie and her husband and myself and my husband and Lorraine and Christine.
Old McDonald have a farm.
Old McDonald's does have a farm, but he doesn't really have a farm during Mommy's video, okay?
Old McDonald have a farm.
Can Old McDonald go have a farm over there? Can he have a farm on the table? So we got up, all of us, and we went kayaking. Again, super fun. Like, I loved kayaking so much that I'm telling David, like, we need to buy kayaks. We have a lake that we go to a lot, and the river runs into it. We have a river that runs, like, right on the outside of our town. It's part of the city limits is the river. Like, we could kayak all over the place. I want kayaks. I thought I wanted, like, a stand-up paddleboard, but now I think maybe I want kayaks first. So kayaking was fun. It was a lot less strenuous than I think we thought it was going to be, but still, I loved it. And it would be strenuous if you weren't in something with a current. There would be a lot more paddling. And then we went horseback riding in the afternoon. We were split into two groups. So Tanya and Gracie and Lorraine and John were in one group, and then myself and David and Doug were in another group. And that was nice. It was an hour long, but let me tell you, after 30 minutes, I was ready to get the hell off the horse. My ass hurt. I think just from all the climbing and stuff the day before. But Doug took a picture of me, like, because I was on the horse behind him. And when I saw the picture, I was like, oh, holy shit. I look like a normal person on a horse. Like, not a fat person, not an overweight person. I look like a fucking normal person on a horse. And that was huge. So here's that picture. Another thing was I tried some new foods during our stay. Lorraine makes this breading, like, it tastes kind of like shake and bake, but I would totally coat chicken in it and bake it in the oven, and it would be delicious. And it's not bread, it's fucking nuts. So I told her multiple times during the trip that I needed the recipe. And Lorraine, I need the recipe. Or whatever. Whatever you want to do. Send it to me. I don't care. But yeah. I need some of that in my life. I tried perky jerky for the first time. I actually have some right here. Jerky. They don't sell perky jerky where I'm from, and I wasn't aware that I could order it online like a dumbass. So Lorraine let me take whatever it was that she brought with her home with me. So we've been snacking on perky jerky when we feel snacky. I also tried almond butter for the first time, and so did David. And we both were like, where have you been all my life, almond butter? So when I went grocery shopping, when we finally got home, I got some almond butter. I got 2 jars of almond butter and a jar of cashew butter. I haven't opened any of them yet, but I will be. I've never tried cashew butter, so maybe we'll like it, maybe we won't, but whatever. And finally, and most importantly, we tried, or I guess I let David have a bite, but I had Tanya's muff, and let me tell you, if you ever have a chance to eat Tanya's muff, you should do so, because it was unbelievably good. Like, I would eat Tanya's muff every day if I could. So there's that. Muff is short for muffaletta sandwich. But yeah, and here's a picture of everyone eating Tanya's muff. Okay, so yeah, so that and then Saturday after horseback riding, everybody got ready and we all went out to dinner at a Mexican restaurant. I'm sure that if you are friends with any of us on Facebook, you've seen the donkey pictures. It was a lot of fun. We drew a crowd, so I had a great time. Really, we had an amazing time with everybody. And I think most of us are going to OH, so I'm super excited to see everybody again in October. Actually, I'm super excited to see less of everybody in October. I know that some people are having some plastics done between now and then, and I can't wait to hear about it. And, of course, everybody's still working on losing more weight. I know I sure am. I have about 55 pounds to go to goal. When I told other people what my goal was, after like seeing me and knowing what I weigh currently, they said, no, that'll be too small. So my goal might change between now and October, and it might not. I don't know. So yeah, so then Sunday morning we got up. David and I were the first ones to leave. We had the earliest flight out. We went to the airport. We got on the plane. We flew from Atlanta to Houston. We went to dinner in Houston at this place called Papadu Seafood Kitchen. Oh, holy shit. Oh my god. We had the most delicious steak ever there. Anyway, so we sat there, we were eating, and then I get a message on my phone from Southwest Airlines, and they're like, oh, your flight's delayed an hour. I'm like, yay. We already had a 3-hour layover, so that would have meant it was now 4 hours. 10 minutes later, I get another message and it says, your flight is canceled. Okay. So we go to the desk and we're like, oh my god, I forgot to say, during dinner, Margaret, VSG, came and joined us and we got to meet her too. I love you, Margaret. Anyway, back to, so our flight was canceled. So we go to the ticket and we're like, hi. Is there any way we're going to get home today? And they're like, not on an airplane. So I guess like 5 flights got canceled. And then there was one at like 11:30. And maybe, I mean, we could go on the standby list and maybe we would get on it. And that would only fly us to Dallas. And then we would have to stay in Dallas overnight and then fly to Tulsa in the morning. So yeah, that wasn't going to work because David had to be at work the next morning. So we went downstairs, we rented a car, and we drove from Houston. It was like 8 hours of driving, and so, but we made it. We're home now, so that's all that really matters. I was super excited to get back to Jackson. I missed him horribly. but we still had an awesome time. So that's really it for this week. I think it's been a good video. I loved meeting everybody. Everybody was so nice and so much fun, and we really, really super enjoyed spending time with everyone. Tanya and John, thank you so much for putting the whole thing together. It was amazing. It was such a good trip. I'm so glad we went. So, here's the NSV Retreat 2016. Let's make that shit happen. See you next week.